and I know I said I'd be working on the top tier list video, which I still am. It's just taking a lot longer because I'm trying to figure out how to format it. It's actually a lot harder to review 3 short stories and condense it into something that's less than 45 minutes. Uh, the more I've got into it, the more I'm like, ooh, there's a lot of shaving I gotta do on this video. Ah! So while I'm working on that, I'm gonna work on 2 other videos, which is this one that you're watching right now, and another one that isn't FNAF related, something to change up things a little bit. But for now, let's talk about a particular topic that's on my mind lately. And it's the topic about, well, burn trap. I'll probably be using the word William or Afton for this video to keep things simple, because even though he comes in many different names in the series, I always default to either William or Afton, just to keep things simple, because we all know it's the same guy every time, because that's kind of the point. I know a lot of people say that Glitchtrap is probably the only entity that's probably separate from him and a few other Springtrap-like entities in the Fazbear Frights, which is understandable. I'm willing to admit that those might be separate things, but let's just focus on uh, Burntrap, aka William Afton, in this conversation, because a lot of it comes with the fact of why does he always come back, and if that's a good thing or not. A lot of people have mixed feelings about it. Well, I don't know if it's mixed feelings. I don't know how to describe it. It's one of those things. I'm going to try my best not to, like, unintentionally make any straw mans here. So whenever I suggest these kind of things, these are just things that I've been hearing. So in case I'm just overreacting, and this is basically walking into saying that I can't tell if I have a unpopular opinion or the algorithm is trying to make me think I have an unpopular opinion. You get what I mean? So that's why I'm kind of airing out my thoughts on this. God dang it, phone. Now, the things that I mostly agree with people on is the fact that how they handled his return, but to be fair, that could have come, especially because of the second trailer that came out, it's very clear that's not how they wanted to present him as the story unfold. But this is what we got, so I can't just say well, there was a better story at one point, but that's not what we got. So I can't really make that argument. And then 2, I kinda, sorta, a little bit agree that him coming back was a teensy bit too soon. Like I said, depending on what story they were going to tell, maybe it would have been worth it. But, um, but yeah, that's a pretty good argument that it's not that he came at all, it's more so maybe we could have waited one more game before introducing him back, you know? Maybe have Vanny have a lot, make this her game, and then the next game is all about her going through with her plan, basically. It would be a lot of work and patience, but it would give an even um, time for both villains, right? So, but now I want to talk about the opinion that I definitely don't understand and I can't comprehend is him not coming back at all. Period. We're done. And I do agree if we stopped at Pizza Simulator, well, duh, that'd be the case. But when Help Wanted came around, I knew for a fact he was coming back. I don't know what everybody thought after that. They're just like, oh no, they're not gonna do that. And I'm like, are you okay? What? What? The whole it is literally just point blank telling you, hey, boy coming back. You don't know when, you won't know how, but he's gonna do it. Okay, cause why? Okay, why would there be a virus about him? The only person that would have made that virus would have been him. Because no one knows within universe that he is the killer. There's speculation, there's rumor, and all the people who knew for sure who he was the dead children and the 2 men that died in Pizza Simulator. But why would he make the virus chip to control people? We don't even know if it's a virus chip. It could be just him being a ghost taking a form of a virus. You don't know. Basically, every time I've had the conversation with a lot of people is the implications of okay, So let's say the hypothesis of Help Wanted should have been about making a cult/follower. Why though? Why would he want a cult? Why wouldn't he, if he wasn't using it as a roundabout way to bring himself back? Because why would he give knowledge to people about Remnant to not give them the tools to bring him back with it? Why would he not do that? What would be the point of making a control chip without that mindset in mind? This man literally, he's always coming up with ways to stay alive because he knows he's going to hell. That's the point of that is like that is the easiest way to describe what the point of his character is that he knows he's past the point of no return. So the second his soul is out of out of the moral coil, we all know where he's going. He was there for a short period of time. Now that we think about it, if you make Ultimate Custom Night canon, which it most likely is, well, depending on what we found in the game, especially with the Monty Golf and doing the math on the 55 number, possibly putting an anniversary number on it, it might be 5, 15, 20 years between him being in hell. So it's not that soon of him coming back, at least in game universe time. Like, he's been gone for a while. So why would he want to make a cult and not have them do that? We all knew that she was an unwilling participant in all this. Whether how much you knew about the Vanny side of things, you knew that there was somebody under his control. So how would the story continue if he wasn't in charge at all? And if he is in charge, why wouldn't that be the plan? I don't understand. Like, just to kill children to continue killing children, learning more about Remnant, but why would he want to know more about Remnant without taking any credit of himself owning it? Because that's kind of been his personality, at least in the Silver Eyes, that it's all about me when it comes to discovering this stuff. I know there's slightly small differences in personality between the Silver Eyes Afton and the game Afton, but not that much. Like, it really isn't that much of a difference deep down when it comes to motive, at least as far as I've seen in the series. It seems like no, his motives has been pretty consistent from what we've seen in the alternate universe. The alternate universe are pretty the alternate timeline of these two are pretty synced. And of course, this is coming from people that just want a completely different antagonist, right? Correction. New main antagonist. That's more accurate. Unless we were rebooting the series, yes. And if Help Wanted didn't happen. Like, if Help Wanted didn't happen, then we could probably go into a possibility of Vanny being her own thing. But we all know that's not what she was. We all know going into this game that's not what she was. She was in control of someone, and we all know who that someone was. So that's just where I am about, like, that particular statement. I get it. Like, it was a little lackluster when it came to him showing up in Security Breach. I mean, personally, I thought it was pretty awesome, but I just felt it was way too short, and I felt like there wasn't the proper build-up for him to show up at all. And once again, I can't make the argument about, well, there were signs that they were going to put in the game but didn't happen, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to repeat myself on that point. The point is, him showing up at all makes sense. Especially if Help, like, I don't know what everybody went into denial about what happened in Help Wanted. I'm just like, even by everyone's hypothesis of what she was before we played Security Breach, it still led to the same conclusion. It almost comes across as everybody all mad because she pulled it off. That's all I can think of when I think about it. It's like, you just don't like that she pulled it off? Oh, and there was this one statement I remember where, like, okay, not everybody listened to the CDs, so, like, this doesn't really apply to everybody that thought this, but I'm just sitting here going, like, when some people said, well, maybe we should just make Elizabeth/Baby be the main antagonist of the series. And it was one thing when it was someone who didn't read the CDs. It was another thing when people read the CDs and didn't draw the conclusion that Vanny is Elizabeth. Some people are still with other theories, which I still don't really understand. Unless you don't know anything about Elizabeth, then maybe. But at the same time, whatever. Just assume that, like, I understand the ones that don't draw to that conclusion when it comes to Vanny being Elizabeth. But the ones that do draw to that conclusion still told me that. And I'm sitting here going like, you mean what actually happened in Security Breach? Like, she did exactly what Baby would have done. Bring back her dad. My God. Basically what I'm saying, Baby's a terrible choice for a main antagonist for a new storyline because literally her entire character focus is to be with her dad and having, like, you know, and have his loving affection towards her. Like, that's literally all she lives and breathes for in this series. So I thought, I just, oh. And what I mean by new story arc, I mean a story arc without Afton, because unless Afton is involved in somewhere in the story, she can't possibly be a main antagonist of any kind, because there's literally no her without him. At least when it comes to focus on what she wants to do. Though I actually do hope the Afton ending is canon, only because of the fact it does leave open a really good opportunity for Baby slash Vanny to actually have a really interesting story arc. Because if anything, this could be just a setup for her to be a main antagonist. Only because of the fact that like, basically, if you think about it, they both were in hell. Like, she would never have left that area because her dad was there. But her dad wanted out, and her dad convinced her. Probably, I would not be shocked if he convinced her that they would have a better life outside of this hellhole that they're in, and she had to help him get out. And she complied because apparently she always listens to him. So help wanted happened, right? So, and now we have Security Breach, which basically Vanny slash Baby, you know what, I'm just going to call her Elizabeth at this point because you get what I'm getting at right now, right? Elizabeth is just being Daddy's little helper in this whole big project thing that he's got going on. I don't know how exactly what the main project was, probably just the Blob. Possibly that other thing too. There was like a big virus thing that he was trying to get out into the world, so whatever plans he had might have extended outside the pizzeria, but let's just assume that he was just doing experiments with the Blob and whatnot, right? And as far as we know for sure, that's what he at least was tampering with. And Daddy's little girl is just being Daddy's little helper. And she's just basically, you could take it that the entire time she's in Security Breach, she's just playing with us. She's just messing with us until she finally takes us back to what, take Gregory back to whatever experiment that her dad was working on with him. So, since he's all in charge and everything, she's not taking any of this seriously, which would make sense. But now, he's been taken by the Blob. And I would not be shocked if not only can she not find him, all communication has just been cut off. Because in the end, in the Afton ending, she probably has no idea what the heck happened down there. She was nowhere near that event. She could probably make an educated guess that it had something to do with Freddy and Gregory, but she doesn't know for sure. All she knows is that everything just exploded like from under her. So she's just probably sitting there going, what happened and where's Dad? So I'm thinking I wouldn't be shocked if the next couple of games we actually have a reason for her to be the main antagonist. She still has her goal, she still has her motive, but now she has like motivation to pursue this particular goal once again. Is this a goal that we remember, but it's in a different circumstance? She needs to find her dad wherever he is. So like, and that would be interesting because technically he wouldn't, like, we could actually have him out of the picture but also be aware that he's still probably somewhere, most likely trapped, preventing him from doing anything. So we could have some stories where it has technically nothing to do with him, but it's all going to be leading up to him once again, because that's how it always is. I think it'd be great for Vanny's situation too, because, well, Elizabeth, god dang it, Elizabeth, because now we're, instead of happy little girl has her working with daddy, to unhinged woman desperately looking for her father. And who knows what she's capable of trying to figure out how to do that. At least that's what I would take the series by this point, after the Afton ending, if I took the Afton ending as canon. At least for now. I might change my mind once DLC comes out. Maybe there'll be a lot of changes into the context of the story by then, but I'm pretty, like, I kind of like that idea in general. If we were going to make uh, Elizabeth the main antagonist. Now, to be fair, if we wanted like a whole story without the Afton at all, period, like, sorry to talk like a broken record, Help Wanted shouldn't have happened if that was the direction we would take. If a completely 100% new antagonist, no association with the Afton family, then Help Wanted can't exist in that context. And I think just Steel Wool really wanted to take a crack at extending the Afton family stuff, right? Now, to be fair, I'll be fair. I don't think it was necessarily 100% Steel Wool's idea to continue the Afton family story, because Scott was still technically in charge of the main story, and I would not be shocked if the company went over to them and said, "Look, we want to pick up your franchise and we want to continue the story." And he said, "Great. I guess Afton's back." And they go, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah." Like, if you're gonna continue the story without a reboot, we're gonna bring Afton back because if he, like, basically the main story goes with him. Like, literally, the main story ends with him. It started, like, literally, it started with him. It's going to end with him if we continue the story. I wouldn't be shocked if that's how he explained it. Like I said, I'm not in the man's head, but I've read enough of the books to have an idea of where he was going with William's character. That's probably the case. Especially after a while I finished the Silver Eyes trilogy. Like, if you think about it, that entire timeline just ends after he dies. And it stays dead. Hell, if you want a FNAF series where Afton dies and stays dead, read Silver Eyes. It will be your most favorite spin-off slash alternate universe FNAF series you love if you hate this man. Because he only survives 3 books. And it's really, I always find it fascinating. Every time I see like a fan project or a fan series or whatever, every single time they end the series, it always ends with Afton actually dying. And the series is over. They don't try to make another fan series without him or anything like that, except if there were a series that were already doing like an alternate universe, right? But like every time they write him in, their little fanfic thing is over. It done. I just always find that observation funny. But like I said, I would not be shocked if that's the mindset Scott has with this character. Is the fact that it started with him, it will end with him. In one way or another. We will stretch out this method as far as possible as long as we continue this story. Because it's almost just as the same process as the pizzerias constantly being built. It's the same process. You build it, he will come. Basically, this is my long-winded explanation of Afton is basically Dio. Like, he's the Dio of the series. The series it started with Dio, it will end with Dio. When that end will come, who knows? He's an undead vampire man. Well, actually, with Dio's an undead vampire man. William is an undead rabbit suit man. But you get what I mean. He will always be that villain. Like, if you can't handle it, I don't know what to tell you. Like, though I could see them starting a new arc, but they have to finish the Afton one, okay? All right? Like, that's how I feel. Look, I'll give you a deal. If the Steel Wool could at least finish what they started, I will be 100% okay with 100% new antagonists with no Afton family involved in the series. We just go on a whole new arc with that. But here we are, and just ending him right now would make me nervous if they could finish anything, right? Like it would make me concerned because I wouldn't like the new main antagonist because I'll be sitting here going, will they finish his story? Can they finish his story? You know, like I don't know. Seems like they can't finish anything. Like, that would be the mindset I would have if they completely dropped him right now. Especially now. Especially now would be a disaster. So that's how I feel about the situation. I would really like to know everybody's thoughts about this, to be honest. Like, am I overreacting? Is this like not a thing to be talking about? I feel like it's a thing everybody's talking about. Maybe it's just me. But once again, I like that I like this. I like the stupid gimmick. No, but seriously, I do like that he comes back. I like his character. I don't know what to tell you. I actually like him. But I am a little curious about everybody else's opinions on this. Like, I am really interested in everybody else's insights on this one. So, if you want, give me a comment. I might answer it in a FNAF related video some other time. The next one's not going to be FNAF related, so just be aware of that. But I would love to hear anybody's comments about this. And I would like to answer them. But for now, I will answer 2 comments that were put in the last video. The 2 comments are made by Emily or Emanations. The first one is I like how the official outro for you videos is good morning and good night. Yes, I do like that outro very much. I got that outro because I kept getting people coming to my streams that were either super early or super late, like at night or super early in the morning. It was so I was just like I didn't know how to leave the room. I was just like good morning, and good night. It, it just ended up turning into that. And the second comment is I would like to see more rants, lol, FNAF or otherwise. Good, because there are more coming. In fact, I have 2 on the way when it comes to FNAF and otherwise. But then again, otherwise and then FNAF, the exact order. So, and that is it for the video today. So, thank you for listening to my ramblings, and once again, I would really, really like some feedback in the sense of like, am I completely crazy about this? Do I deserve to have my opinion to be the most unpopular opinion? Like, I'm really curious. Like I said, I've talked to a lot of people about this, but at the same time, I feel like I still haven't cracked the code of why I have this opinion. All right. Talk to you later, guys. Hope to see you in the next video. Good morning and good night.